Alright guys, we're gonna go over some editing now. Editing's pretty fun. There's two programs I want to talk about, Pixelmator and Photoshop. Most people are familiar with Photoshop or have heard of it, but it's a fairly complicated program and it's kind of difficult to just jump in and start out, but once you learn the basis of it, it's pretty simple and it's very powerful. Pixelmator is a Mac-based app, but it's basically like they took all the most used tools from Photoshop and put them in there. So it doesn't do as much as Photoshop, but it works very similar. You can save things in Photoshop files and transfer them to Photoshop if you need to. But the difference is this is only $30 one-time fee, and you can use it forever. Photoshop has a monthly rate now, and so you have to pay every month. But basically, I'm going to go through Pixelmator with you, but just know that it's very similar to Photoshop, and if you kind of get the basis of this, it works very similarly. Some of the things are a little bit different. Photoshop, if you just go to their website, adobe.com, click over here, and I just click on how to buy, and you can click on individual or photographers. They're going to give you the same price. If you see here, it's going to be $9.99 a month. And the cool thing about this is that it actually comes with Lightroom and Photoshop for $10 a month. And Lightroom is really awesome program, and Photoshop's a really awesome program. It's just, you know, if you don't want to commit $10 a month and you mainly want the Photoshop type qualities, Pixelmator is the way to go. It's a really good app. I use it all the time. Doesn't have quite as much stuff, but it definitely has enough that it'll do the trick for most people. So when you open Pixelmator, it's going to give you this menu screen here. You can just drag a file over to your little app on the sidebar, and it'll open the picture for you in the current size, or you can just create something new, and you can plug your own size and dimensions in. Then it's going to open this screen. And this right here, this base here, this is your canvas. So this is the area you're working with. You can adjust your canvas size if you want to. Pick whatever you want. If you go over here to view, we can show you. You can have like a layers palette, so we can actually create. We can take that off. So this is just your basic canvas with a transparent background. This will have a white background if you leave this up, but you can delete that if you want or keep it on. You can add multiple layers, multiple pictures stacked on top of each other. You also have different stylings you can use for when you do text, graphics. You can add colors, shadows, all kinds of things like that. You have an effects palette, and this has all kinds of stuff, but for just your basic photo editing, color enhancements, brightness controls, all those kind of levels, this is under color adjustments. You can do all those basic enhancements, but there's a ton of different effects, tons of things you can play with. You can blur stuff, you can make all kinds of weird shapes, color effects, lighting effects. It's really cool. We'll go into all this stuff more in detail later. I'm going to give you a quick overview, and then I'll have different videos showing you how to use different tools. But it's pretty cool. And real quick, I'm going to jump over to Photoshop just to kind of show you that. Alright, so when you open Photoshop, this is what the screen looks like. Pretty similar. Your canvas is going to be right here. You're going to have different layers and all your little effects over here, and then down on the left side is your toolbar. And like I said, they have basically the same tools, but then they have additional tools in Photoshop, and they have just tons more stuff you can add to, but a lot of it's very advanced. For most parents, just doing pictures of their kids, making cool little effects, Pixelmator is all you need. But if you got the Lightroom combo with Photoshop. I mean, that'll definitely cover everything. It's the best of the best, but it is $10 a month. So that's up to you. But we'll go back to Pixelmator. On the left here, you're going to see different tools here. I'll go over them real quick. I'm not going to go into detail of what they do because they do a lot, and I want to take more time and break them down individually. But basically, over on the left here, you have a magic wand tool, the move tool. You have some selection tools, so you can select different areas. Basically, this is going to be the paint selection tool. I can't never remember how to pronounce this. I think it's polygonal lasso tool. You have a crop tool, your slice, an eraser. This is just a paintbrush. This is your gradient tool and your paint bucket. This you can just kind of color things all at once. You're going to have a sponge tool, and then over here you basically have a few different tools. It's in a drop down. You just click on it, but it's basically your smudge, warp, bump, pinch, and twirl. Different effects. Dodge tool, burn tool, clone stamp, which is going to kind of, you can clone a certain area so other areas look like the same. The heal is real cool. Like you can just wipe out a zit or a little spot, or so many times I've taken a picture and my kid has something on his face, and I'll just be able to wipe it off because he had chocolate cake on his face or something. This is just to help get rid of red eye. This magic eraser, I use this a lot too. It's different than the eraser. The eraser is just going to erase whatever you're touching. The magic eraser will kind of erase. It'll guesstimate what you're trying to erase, and you can erase multiple. So if you're like on color white and the rest of your image has a different color, it will like kind of guess that you're trying to erase the white and try and erase more for you. Try to be smart, like a smart eraser. It's pretty cool. It's pretty accurate, but sometimes it's not the greatest. This is going to be your blur tool and sharpen, so you can just sharpen the image or blur it in selective areas. This is going to be your pen tool, and then this is like a free pen tool. We have text. You can add text, type what you want, graphics, different shapes. Got a bunch of shapes you can add to the image. This here is going to just zoom you in, and you can zoom back out. It's pretty easy. And then this one here is like an eyedropper tool. It helps you select colors, so you can pick what color you're going to put into your palette. And just there's a bunch of different let's see, gradients you can choose from, so you can do different shades, light to dark, or change how the color patterns are. Let's see, did I forget anything? You got rulers and grids that you can use, and you can set up guidelines so it'll help you kind of line everything up so it's all symmetrical, make it easier on you, show your fonts. So basically it's very, very similar to Photoshop, just not as detailed. Photoshop, as you can see, like they have these tools, but then when you select on the drop down, a lot of times they'll have like multiple selections of more advanced tools that you can get into. So if you're looking for all the features, I think Photoshop's probably the way to go. Plus, I'm not really getting into it here, but I'm telling you, Lightroom is probably my favorite program. It doesn't do the layering like Photoshop does, or like Pixelmator. It's just like an editing tool to do some basic, I guess you'd call them more basic edits and enhancements of colors and adjustments, but it's really good and really detailed, and you can do things like keep presets so that you're if you like something and you want to apply it to multiple, you can easily just go back to a preset. Or you can, if you have a bunch of pictures that were taken like in the same setting, and maybe your white balance was off or something, it's like a little cloudy, you can adjust one so it looks real nice and bright, and then copy that, those adjustments you made, and then just go to the next picture, paste, next picture, paste, and it'll just continue to put that same, all those same settings on, and your pictures will look real cool. So hope you like this. Just a quick breakdown. We're gonna go over much more in detail. I'm gonna start going over some of these selection tools. The move tools actually does a lot more than you think it does. And then we'll get into, some of these are self-explanatory, but you're gonna be surprised how much each tool can do. And when you start learning how they each kind of work, it kind of all comes together and makes sense. And if we learn Pixelmator, you're basically learning Photoshop, and you'll just have to learn a little bit extra when you're ready for the more advanced stuff. But all right, hope you guys have a good one. Please share this video. We really appreciate it, and have a good one.